Hi, a very good morning and welcome to a brand new episode of BNS and the Stock Game on ET Now. I'm Megha Chadha.
Hi everyone, I'm Avan Dabash. We've got our three experts who will be joining in a short while to battle it out for BNS and the Stock Game. But just wanted to give you a glimpse as to what it's all about. We've got three experts who join in from Monday right up until Friday, and they have to create a portfolio with a notional amount of 5 lakh rupees. Now, they can only choose one stock from the F&O space, and there's a compulsory churn of 2 stocks every single day. In case the target price has been achieved or a stop loss has been hit, they must replace that stock with a new one. And if they have a sell call in the cash market, that too must be replaced by a new stock for the next day. And it's on Friday that we will calculate who's made the maximum amount of money on their notional amount of 5 lakh rupees and declare them as the winner of BNS and the Stock Game. So you get to have lots of stock ideas, 12 all in all, through each day for BNS and the Stock Game. So let's not waste any time and call on board our participants for this exciting game show. We've got with us Kunal Saragi of EquityRush.com. There's also Mitesh Thakkar of MiteshThakkar.com who joins in on the show. And our third expert for this week is Gaurang Shah of Geojit BNP Paribas Financial Services. Three of them are going to fight it out to be the winner of this series of BNS and the Stock Game. Gentlemen, as always, it's great to have you on the show. Can't wait to hear about your new stock picks. We'll start off with that in a bit, but first let's get in a sense as to what happened to their portfolios on the second day. Megha.
Well, Avan, given that most of our experts had a very bullish stance yesterday and the markets were extremely buoyant as well, so that worked out rather well for them. So let's take you through the individual portfolios. Kunal first, he managed to hit the target on 2 counters yesterday, a nifty Jan Futures long call coming in there, as well as a Sterlite Industries. So both those long calls worked out well for him. The other 2 counters didn't hit the stop loss or the target, and by the day's close, he was making close to 16,000 rupees. Mitesh, on the other hand, also had a long-only portfolio. Didn't hit any targets, but he managed to hold on to that first position, making a cool 33,000 rupees. Gaurang, on the other hand, our third expert for this week, he hit the target on an Alstom, a long call there, as well as an IRB Infra. Unfortunately, Sun Pharma, which was his solitary sell call in the portfolio, was stopped out, and by the day's close, he was making close to 4,800 rupees.
Okay, but it's day 3, so new stock calls, new strategies. Let's find out what our experts have got with them in their portfolios. Start off with you, Kunal. Run us through your portfolio for the third day.
Well, on the third day, I have got 3 long calls and I've got 1 short. The 3 longs are Bajaj Auto, where I think it's formed a base and it's now moving up. 1430 would be the stop loss here and a target of 1490. I've got a long on India Infoline, which I think might do well given the market situation. UCO Bank is another stock. I think bank stocks might actually do well going forward. So that's another one that I've got a long on. The target here is 5850. And I've got the short call on Indian Hotels, which I think is showing some bit of pressure on the charts. So this is a stock that I'd go short on.
Okay, so 3 longs, 1 short on an Indian Hotels, and it's a similar strategy that Mitesh, you've also got for us for today. 3 longs, 1 sell, and that sell call, of course, has already hit the target.
That's correct. I think broadly I had to maintain 2 of my stocks, so I've kept faith with State Bank of India, which is looking extremely good. I think Kunal just spoke about the banking stock. The PSU banking stocks have got into some kind of an upside momentum, so this should be good. And GT Offshore is another one which I continue to hold. It's a stock which has been well beaten down and now giving a bounce back. So that's the stock which I'm holding. The new entries into the portfolio for the day are Jain Irrigation, which gave a very good price and volume action and some kind of a technical breakout yesterday. So that one can be bought with a stop at about 97.85 and a price target of 109. And I've got a short on SR Oil, as you mentioned. I think clearly there was a news driven event and we saw some kind of selling happening in the last 15-20 minutes of the session yesterday. I think a follow-up was expected, so that's hit the target of 52.
Okay, 1 stock retained in the form of a great offshore, and you've got the other stocks which are all new in Mitesh's portfolio. Gaurang, you've chosen a new strategy, a divergent strategy as compared to Mitesh. So you've gone short on 3 stocks and you've gotten a little bit of flavor from the commodity space with Gold Bees.
Yeah, that's true. And we had news yesterday on the import duty on gold, but yes, that has not really impacted. But the positive side was almost close to about 1% gain in dollar terms for the gold prices. That has, that possibly gave me a feeling that you will see some amount of positivities coming. But unfortunately or fortunately, rupee dollar equation, rupee has gained strength close to about 0.5%. So the impact of those moves of import duty hike and move in dollar terms for gold prices has got negated a little bit. But overall, as a commodity play, a hedge against equity or any other asset class, we've been advising gold ETFs or e-gold to our clients, and I think it is prudent to diversify a little bit. So gone long on gold ETFs, gone short on Bank Nifty, gone short on SR Oil, gone short on State Bank of India. Now, I guess banking, like Mitesh and Kunal mentioned, they are a positive, but I believe that you would possibly, see tiredness coming in, and that was visible late last hour of the trade and this morning. So I've gone short on Bank Nifty, gone short on SR Oil. I guess SR Oil, my target is achieved, and I've gone short on State Bank of India.
Shots, and the only long call is on the gold bees for today. So let's take you through the individual scorecards then and tell you how our experts are doing right now. We've got Kunal Sarogi. None of the stop losses or the targets in his portfolio have been hit yet, but nevertheless he is in the third place as of now. We've got a good comeback from Gaurang's portfolio, so that's putting Kunal in the third place as we speak. A UCO Bank and an Indian Hotels though is causing a spot of trouble, so 15,000 rupees is what he's making. Mitesh, on the other hand, a short call on SR Oil, that target has been met, and overall his portfolio is making close to 44,000 rupees. Gaurang, on the other hand, gold bees in a spot of trouble today, but nevertheless, SR Oil, that short call also working out remarkably well for him, and he is in the second position as we speak, making close to 4% on the portfolio, so that's a gain of about 20,000 rupees.
Okay, but let's find out what they've got in terms of their individual picks for the final day. That's day 3. So we'll start off with Kunal Sarogi and a buy call coming in on Bajaj Auto. Kunal, there's been lots of news which has been going about in the auto space with Maruti Suzuki raising its prices. You also had Tata Motors coming out with JLR sales. What is your view on the auto sector as a whole and then on a Bajaj Auto specifically?
Well, I think, Aban, the kind of correction that we've witnessed in Bajaj Auto, I think, is a bit overdone, and the stock has formed a very good base for itself around these levels, and we've seen a good volume accretion over the last few days. So I think it's primed for a good move upwards, and I think it will play catch up with the rest of the auto pack, which has already moved up. So I think Bajaj Auto could actually show levels in excess of 1550 over the next few weeks. But in the short term, I think a good fair target on this one would be about 1500. So this is the reason for the long that I have on Bajaj Auto.
Okay, so long call coming in there. Target of 1490 is what you can expect for a Bajaj Auto. But talk about a great offshore then, which Mitesh, you're retaining from yesterday as per the rules of the game. Nevertheless, it's a bit soft in the session right now, but given that it's trading above that 50-day moving average of about 91 odd levels, you think it could be touching that 3-digit level soon?
I think that's the idea. I think, it's managed to get past the short and medium term averages. It's a stock which has been beaten down from levels of more than 300 in the last 4 to 5 months to as low as about 80 odd, I think, a couple of weeks back. So it's just staged a bounce back. It's managed to get past the short and medium term averages as I just discussed. I think that's where it's just showing signals that, there's a possibility of a rally developing over here, which could probably take it up to 99 to 100, which is my price target, possibly slightly even higher.
That's a word which is coming in on a great offshore, fairly muted in today's session, but you've got Mitesh, who is continuing to retain that buy call from yesterday. Gold bees, that's what you've got a bullish stance on, Gaurang, and you maintained that the import duty being hiked on gold and silver is not likely to impact any of this?
Not majorly, and I guess in terms of rupee terms, the price of gold is going to remain higher. And it got a direct correlation, Avan, with rupee dollar equation, and with the kind of depreciation we've seen, though dollar terms the price have corrected almost about $200 odd, $250 odd, but in rupee terms we've seen just marginal downtick because of the rupee depreciating against the dollar. Now this translates into gold maintaining the kind of strength that it has got. Though a lot of people feel that it's a bubble, it's a bust asset class, etc., etc. But we believe in the fundamental, and we feel that more problems emerging out of Europe, US, and uncertainties in the Middle East will definitely have flight to safety in terms of gold as an investment. Though today the ETF Gold Bees has really not shown much of strength. I think it was flat last time that I saw, down about 0.5% or so. Stop loss was 26.20 and the target was about close to 27.30, 27.35. I think from a long-term point of view, like I mentioned earlier, I think it's a perfect hedge for an asset class, equity or otherwise. So you should use opportunities. Weakness in gold ETF or e-gold should be used as a buying opportunity.
Okay, so use any weaknesses that you spot in gold to increase your presence in that precious metal. That's a word coming in from Gaurang. But let's talk about an India Infoline next, which is Kunal's second pick for the day. Kunal, right now it's trading very flat in the session at levels closer to 39 odd. But you think that it could be seeing levels closer to 56 in a short while from now?
Absolutely. I think if you look at the overall structure of the stock, the way it's rallied over the last few sessions, I think there is more steam left on this particular one. And there is a very good chance that it might rally to 56, which is the next major resistance on the chart. But once it breaks past that, I think it might actually see levels closer to 61, 62 over the next few weeks. So this is a good buy. But one must maintain a stop loss here. In case you're buying fresh, I think a stop loss below 50 would be in order.
Okay, that's a word which is coming in on an India Infoline, and you've got Kunal who's advising a stop loss at a level of below 51.50 with an upside target of 56 on that individual counter. To the banking space, and then let's focus in on an SBI. Mitesh, yesterday it did manage to cross above its 100 daily moving average for the first time since July 26, fairly tempered at 1842. What is the right level for one to enter into an SBI, and what kind of targets can one expect?
I think, I've been calling for a possibility that the stock price is now going through broadly a bottoming formation. We have not seen a big reversal happening as yet, but I think every time a new low is being made by prices of State Bank of India, it's hardly, 30-40 rupees below the earlier low. So we saw a low at 1750, then at 1600, about 1690 odd levels, and then at 1650 odd levels, and then one low just below sub 1600. So my sense is that we are getting continuously weaker swings on the downside, though we haven't got a reversal in the sense that we still have been making lower highs and lower tops, but that pattern is about to reverse. So broadly, I think this is an investment grade stock for the time being. But for people who are trading in the short term also, the stock has moved up very nicely from 1650 odd levels to about 1800 plus levels now, and I think it's triggered in short term uptrend. 1940, 1950 is the broad target which I have been looking for on this stock, and I maintain that this is one more stock which I have carried forward from yesterday.
Okay, so State Bank of India very, very flat in the session right now, but it's gained close to 11% in the last month, and further upside can be expected. Talk about the Bank Nifty then, which is just about holding on to that 9,000 level. The move that we saw on the Bank Nifty yesterday, Gaurang, do you think that it's very short-lived and that's the reason that you've initiated a short?
Yes, Megha, and I of an opinion that since you have recovered quite smartly on the broader indices, Sensex Nifty, sectorial indices like Bank Nifty has also given you good amount of performance in the last week or a fortnight, and you've seen recovery to a great extent. Now, life beyond the 91, 90, 150, 90, 200 on Nifty, Bank Nifty looks a little bit shaky and difficult, and we saw some amount of fatigue coming in. Also, given the fact that I think it's not from a purely short-term point of view. If somebody has a month and a half or two to give to Bank Nifty, I think prudent to book profits out of it. If you are getting profits, prudent to open some provisional shorts in the Bank Nifty. And on the number front, I think PSU banks are the ones which will suffer a lot. Along with aviation, real estate and telecom, you have two more sectors joining in the NPS level getting higher for PSU banks, that is power and infra. And we feel that in terms of numbers, we will see some amount of disappointment. Hence, a stop loss of 91.40 on the Bank Nifty and a short call over there with a target of 88.50.
That's a word on the Bank Nifty. January futures lower by 1%, and Gaurang Shah saying that in terms of result, expect nothing spectacular from the banking arena. That's the calculator plate then, a feature of our experts. Kunal Saragi, it's 50-50 for him today. He's making a total gain on his portfolio of 3%, which accumulates to close to 15,000 rupees thereabouts. Mitesh Thakkar is continuing his lead from yesterday, so a 10% gain on SR Oil. That's 9% on the overall portfolio. 45,000 rupees is what he stands to gain. And finally, to Gaurang Shah, who's making gains on 3 stocks. Gold B is not working in his favor. It's a 4% gain on his portfolio, which accumulates to 20,000 rupees. So as we speak, Mitesh Thakkar, Gaurang Shah and Kunal Saragi, that's the run order. But as we slip into the break, in fact, let's give you some footage because we do have India's power lobby who is in fact meeting in New Delhi to meet the Prime Minister. In fact, this time around, we've got Ratan Tata, Cyrus Mistry, Anil Ambani as well as Mr. G.M. Rao, who is part of this delegation. The past CEOs will be meeting the Planning Commission, Oil Ministry, Coal Ministry and Environment Minister and Finance Minister in order to address the coal linkage and environmental clearance issues. In addition to that, the agenda of this meet includes issues to iron out the policy on surplus of coal usage, as well as discuss the fuel availability and possibility of restricting gas to core sectors.
Good to have you back with us on BNS and the stock game. We've of course discussed the first 2 picks for our experts. So time now to get you the third and fourth ideas for the day. Kunal, your third pick for the day, it's a UCO Bank. Currently it's a bit soft in the session, but yesterday had quite a good run in tandem with the rest of the market. It was up close to 5%. Is that the reason that you decided to go with a further long call on that?
Absolutely, Megha. If you look at its trade yesterday, there was a lot of long build-up on the stock, and that continues to this day. I think the stock can actually rally to levels in excess of 60, 62 very quickly. It's just that it's probably taking a breather today. But I think over the next couple of sessions, this might actually do well. And 62, 63 is your immediate term target. But I think I see this going beyond and probably to levels closer to 70 over a period of time. So this is definitely a hold and a buy at the current levels. The stop loss, I think, on this one would be closer to about 58.30.
Okay, that's a thumbs up coming in on a UCO Bank from the banking arena. And you've got Kunal, who is saying that he advises an upside target of 63 with a stop at 58.30. The Bank Nifty, as you saw, was down, as is a UCO Bank. Jain Irrigation, here's your beaten down candidate. Are you expecting it to stage a comeback, Mitesh? And what kind of potential upside can one expect?
See, I think Jain Irrigation, again a stock which has been beaten down, and we have seen that kind of activity happening in a lot of these stocks which have lost about more than 50% of the value in the last few months, and then now they are bouncing back with some kind of strong momentum. I think Jain Irrigation comes into that category. It gave a good breakout. I think today is probably just consolidating. But otherwise, the structure is very, very positive, and this is stock which I think can probably go up to minimum 110, and possibly this bounce back could even take it up to as high as 124. So a good trend has been triggered. I think this one can be bought with a stop at about 97, 97.5, and broadly 110 should be the first target. But my sense is that we can look at higher targets also if somebody is willing to hold on to this. So I've kept a day target of about 109.90 or something like that.
Okay, so 109 to 110 is the immediate target on a Jain Irrigation, currently hovering lower by about 0.75%. Talk about an Essar Oil next, which is Gaurang's third pick for the day. Gaurang, the fact that the Supreme Court yesterday set aside the Gujarat High Court order on the sales tax for the company made it a prime shorting target. And for today, of course, you've met the target, but how much lower do you think the counter can go?
I think it can virtually go to half the target that I had set of 53. Given the fact that a huge payment is to be met out by Essar Oil, of course it would be over a period of time. But the problem is that with this order coming through, the cash flows on the balance sheet will be under tremendous pressure. And the sector to which Essar Oil is associated with requires a huge amount of working capital. Now, you put into a scenario a huge payment met out by this order. Secondly, the cash constraints which will come onto the balance sheet. And thirdly, the impact of these two onto the earnings. Now, if you have a combination of these three, it turns into a very lethal combination, and there could very much visibly be levels of sub 30 and close to about 25 over a period of time in case if things don't really work out in terms of cash flows for the company.
Okay, that's the word which is coming in on an SR Oil, which continues to be beaten down. Remember, the minute it opened, it was a gap down and still lower by close to 14% in today's session on the back of all of that negative news. You've got an Indian Hotels, which emerges as a sell call in your portfolio, Kunal?
Absolutely. Avan, if you look at Indian Hotels, I think this has been under pressure. I've been slightly unlucky with this one. It actually opened quite lower. It's just that it recovered. And I think the stock should go down over a period of time. Today it's bounced back from the day's low, but I think over a period of time it should settle down again. And the levels that I have in mind on this one are closer to 58.
Okay, so 58 is what can be expected for an Indian Hotels. But talk about an SR Oil once again. Mitesh, your last pick for the day. Given that this one was, it cracked right below through that 50-day moving average yesterday once the news came out. And right now as well, 43 is the low that it's tested for today. What do you think? 2025 is what Gaurang is talking about. What do you think is going to happen to this counter?
Well, I think, there's good likelihood that the downtrend might actually take it to 33, 35 odd levels. That's what even I was looking at as a positional kind of a movement. But the logic of picking up the trade was very simple. You have a negative price pattern, a strong addition in the last few minutes of trading on the F&O side, and then you have a very negative news flow. So I think very clearly, I think this one was bound to go down. I took a target of about 52, which was some kind of a short-term support, but I think the stock clearly, I think the supply pressure is far more than what I had thought, and I think I would agree. I think 35, 33 looks likely, but in this kind of pattern with this kind of news flow, anything can happen on the downside. So we have seen worst happening in stocks like Renuka when they had some bad news coming in and stock like that.
Okay, and looks like great minds think alike, because you've got a sell call on an SBI, and that's a similar stock that Mitesh had in his portfolio, Gaurang, although he had a buy call on it. Run us through the rationale for the same. Gaurang, a word on SBI and the sell call that you've got?
Yeah, Avan, sorry, I couldn't hear you properly. Yeah, I just explained in Bank Nifty what the strategy or the medium to long term view is, and the banking pack. And if I take State Bank of India, yes, after touching close to about 1650, 1680, the stock has bounced back and bounced back quite smartly on the recovery of the broader markets. But on numbers, I guess over the last 1 or 2 quarters, we've seen situation deteriorating in terms of earnings for State Bank of India. If you have to go by what the management has mentioned in terms of exposure to aviation and power, I think the asset quality will deteriorate even further, and you have to throw in provisions which will put pressure on the bottom line. Hence, from an immediate short-term point of view, I've kept a target of about 1780 on State Bank of India, and my stop loss is about 1880. But yeah, on the longer term, one can definitely have shorts getting opened up, or even book profits like I mentioned in terms of Bank Nifty.
Okay, so asset quality concerns are likely to drive a State Bank of India lower. 1780 is the target you can look at on the downside. But let's take you through the calculator plates and tell you how our experts are doing right now. We've got Kunal. None of the stop losses or the targets have yet been triggered. A UCO Bank and an Indian Hotels are causing a spot of trouble, but overall the portfolio is making close to 3%. Mitesh, on the other hand, SR Oil, that's a call that's worked out wonderfully for him. Other than that, we've got a State Bank and a great offshore making him good money. Gaurang, on the other hand, Goldbees are the only spot of trouble. All the other 3 picks are in the green zone right now, with him making close to 20,000 rupees. So as things stand right now, we've got Mitesh in the first place, Gaurang and Kunal in the third place. With that, gentlemen, we'd like to thank each of you for joining us today and taking us through your picks for day 3. Look forward to having you back with us tomorrow morning with your fresh trading ideas for Thursday.
And here's what you can look forward to. We'll be addressing our Portfolio Advisor segment with Rajat Bose in a bit. Stay with us.